no. Oh, this is an empty Lilo suit. Insert the endo to begin. Okay, so it is endos going inside. Good. Time to begin testing. I see Lilo's on a snowboard now. Test 1, boot up. Test 2, board magnet toggling and jump. Secure Lilo with elastic harness before jump. Okay, they made the feet smaller. Nice. That's pretty cool. Test 3, retro reflective eye lenses. Okay. Test 4, set masking position A and B with internal magnets. Okay. We're ready to hit the slopes. This is cool. I love this redesign. Got the mask and the snowboard there. The feet are smaller. Oh, hell no. Body. Because the first video said wet, right? Now this is body, so wet body. That's what I got so far. Alright, anything in the description for this one? The animatronic has been our most advanced one yet, boasting a much more flexible frame than our other animatronics. I figured what better direction to take her than to sports. Snowboarding such skiing equipment will be sold on-site come the following winter. It's very cool idea. Okay, not much to note there, honestly, that I saw, so we're just gonna move on to the next one, which is really great. Meow. Meow? How do I pronounce his name, man? Oh my god, the cogs have definitely lit me up by now about this. I did not know that's how you pronounce it.
Now hydrates better than water.
Our chasing hard built scratch. Burn 5% cash back to business successes.
No, you're still so creepy looking, dude. They gotta fix those teeth, Bo. Yeah, same old, same old. This is an empty gal suit, Bo suit. Insert the endo to begin. They look so creepy when they're just like empty. Good. Time to begin testing. Test 1. Boot up. Those teeth are way too sharp. We gotta dull those. Test 2. Tail movement. Okay, that's cool. Test 3. Jaw movement. Too wide. Too wide. There is no reason why this thing's mouth should open up that wide. So it happens to be wide enough for my head to probably fit in there. Perfect time there. See, it's just no. We're just asking for everybody at 87. They gave up too soon. I'm almost found. Huh? What? Who gave up too soon? Okay, so when body was... Alright, it's definitely... I feel like it's definitely these words, but they're just not in the right order right now. Now, the fact that it says they gave up too soon, I'm almost found, makes it seem like that Val, or whatever is maybe possessing this animatronic, might have been a victim. Like, they almost found his body, but they gave up too soon before finding it. And the entire description of this one is binary, so let me just translate that real quick. They all moved on to bigger events, is what the description translates to. Okay, let's move on to the next one, which is Prince of Raven. Is that text flashing on screen? I'm pretty sure that is. Parts. It's not clear enough. Parts. I feel like I saw the word soul in here when we were watching. Same soul. So new parts, same soul. Alright, which definitely confirms to me there's souls locked into these animatronics. And even though they're getting rebranded and, fixed up, they still have the same soul inside of them. The description for this one also says, hey, I know you said in our last email that the Raven and Wolf were completely retrofitted to avoid a repeat of last time, but as soon as we got them on premises, they just begin to tear into themselves all over again if we separate them for too long. I won't pretend to know how these things work, but if you put something in them to have them linked for the security system, could you maybe disable it? It's a really expensive problem for me, and now we have to open it this spring with 2 of our attractions completely out of commission. I'll try and extract the locks from the animatronics like you said, but so far they've all been blank as usual. Because when they have the error codes, they automatically delete them. We can't get them down from the lodge until after winter, but maybe you can come on site to inspect them. Maybe the original inspectors missed something since we had to rush it a bit. Let me know what can be done ASAP. So they begin to tear into themselves if they're separated, the Raven and the Wolf. So it seems that souls in the Raven and the Wolf, they've been very closely related. That's why they're like partnered up together most of the time. And that must be why when we saw the Raven in the past, it's all beat up because it was tearing itself apart when it was separated from the Wolf at certain points. Very interesting. Okay, but now let's move on to the next video, which I believe is the rebrand of the Raven. It's called a rebrand of Richard. Alright. We actually get to see more of the body. Mackenzie's Learning Lodge. Rebranding initiative training team for Richard. So they're calling it Richard now. Nah, this one looks dope. It's got wings. Test 1 heat up.
I have a tie between 2 characters on my community tab. If you guys care, go vote on my community tab. It's for a character for me to draw.
Oh, the lenses are like stained.
There's a tie between 2 of them.
Wait, hold on. I gotta go back before I forget that. Wait, there was some kind of text here. That jump scare. Where is my friend? Probably talking about the wolf. Split. Okay, interesting. We got like no instructions there. Okay, so if we actually put those words together that we've got so far, we get when body was split, which I guess could make sense if we get some more words as well. Oh, and the description for this one is binary as well, so let's go through it. The binary translates to everyone needs a friend. So they're really hammering down on the fact that this animatronic, the Raven, is supposed to be linked to the wolf, and there's got to be a solid reason for that. I'm sure
If it's not like, if the thing's not like untied in a few minutes, I'm probably gonna draw one of my choosing.
I already know what's gonna happen here. There's text. I'm gonna have to go find my friend, just like the Raven. I miss having friends. I'll be your friend, man. As long as you don't try to eat me or something. What would that say? That said, I can only pretend now. Bro, I'll be your friend. Don't worry, Wolf. I'll be your friend. I'll rename you with the Raven. How about that? I'm guessing that's it for this video, really. Yeah, okay. The description for this one says, I understand the need to redesign the wolf along with the others. Just sad to see that old animatronic go. It's like erasing that diner's history. A lot of good memories with that one. Okay, so confirmed, Mackenzie's Learning Lodge is a diner. because it says it's like erasing the diner's history. Good to know. Let's jump into the next one. Brand Wolfgang. Employee tip, do not redistribute. Ooh. Bro's got a bow and arrow? Mackenzie's Learning Lodge. Preparing animatronics for external use. Wolfgang. Certain animatronics are permitted to leave the main lodge in order to fulfill certain duties. Wolfgang does this to teach the families who have purchased the deluxe package that included archery lesson. He needs to make sure he's in good condition to walk through the snow surrounding the area. Excuse me? So you told me that this animatronic goes inside and then walks outside, so it's teaching people archery? Is it even an animatronic anymore, or is it just an actual person? First, we will check Wolfgang's targeting system. Wolfgang is such a funny name. Oh, I hate that POV. That was the rate again, right? Let's double check the thermal pads. You're all set. Okay, it's a slightly launch. We're gonna get words at the end of this one too. So we got when body was split. So it looks like we have 2 more recording videos. So I'm guessing after those we'll finish up what that sentence is supposed to be. The description for this one says, make sure we show the tape to employees who specify that Lila and Mackenzie can leave the premises as well. Be sure to mention that Richard and Wolfgang are not going to be used so we can fix the cum spray. So Lila and Mackenzie can and Wolfgang. So 3 of them can just walk out of the premises and come back whenever they want. Which could explain why that video earlier we saw like the outside of the lodge, it seemed like during the winter. So that could have been any of the 3 animatronics that were out there, although it did look like Mackenzie when we did watch that outdoor video. But it does, again, still seem like Richard and Wolfgang are still having issues, so they're definitely not going to be used yet when spring comes. But they need this animatronic a bow and arrow. What if he just malfunctions and shoots someone by accident? Like, even if you take the horror out of it, it's a robot. Robots have had errors, have malfunctioned, have had issues, and you decided to give them. Come on, man. And now we're gonna jump into the next video, which is called Rebrand Gage. I think it's supposed to be pronounced. It's our boy, the shark animatronic, again looking horrifying despite the rebrand. I know it's supposed to have shark teeth, but do they have to be that big? Gage the Great White. Gage is an aquatic animatronic designed to take a beating. Part of its design is to allow easy access into the animatronic through the mouth for quick repairs when Obi roughs him up a little too much. This tape will train you for a typical jaw repair. Like, for easy access into the animatronic through the mouth for quick repairs. Bro, through this mouth? I bet these teeth aren't soft either. They're definitely like hard metal or plastic or something. Bro, start by stringing Gage up by the tail. Okay. Now set jaw to open locked state. Perfect. Now position yourself under Gage. Hell no, dude. This is a death sentence. Be sure nobody's near the Gage controls. Reach into the jaw and check the ball joints. Please clean the tank with your watch from management. Hold on, was that text there? Sanctuary at last. Then in this next part it says she hates man. Referring to Orca maybe? I think a text there, I gotta go back. You owned you. I don't hate you, man. I just think you have the potential to kill me. Now Gage is ready for the tank. Another word, right? I think it's the lad was okay. When body was split, so was okay. And now we're probably gonna get the final word in the next video. In the description it says construction of the underside tank and tunnel travel system is going smoothly, and the tank should be ready before the winter storm. Your shark animatronic should be able to hide below if it continues to be too aggressive. It connects to a few neat little spots throughout the lodge too, so you get the most out of this animatronic. Okay, so it seems to me that there's a big tank and a travel system throughout the lodge so that the shark can just go around and do stuff, I guess. The orca seems to be very aggressive towards it, and that's why it's able to take a beating. I wonder why the orca is aggressive towards the shark. Again, it seems like it could have souls behind these animatronics. So I guess we'll have to find out more, especially in the next one, where I believe we're going to learn about this orca. The video rebrand employee teams damage. Hello. Oh, I do not like your eyes. Mackenzie's Learning Lodge. Your teams don't look as bad. Rebranding initiative Opal the Orca. This tape will explain Opal's drainage and maintenance system. This tape will use blueprint technology to show you how these systems will work. You'll be performing maintenance and repairs on Opal typically after each hunting showtime event. And repairs on Opal typically after each hunting showtime event to ensure she's in top condition for the show. Alright. This is Opal. Don't worry though, the scars are intentional. Okay? First, she retreats to the cave. The cave cycles out water for air. The maintenance hatch can now open. The body clasp is swapped out. The new clasp extracts Opal, and now
There we go.
we're going to...
That's the shape I want.
Okay, so just extracts the water, so that...
Gonna leave that there.
On, I guess. Oh, and that's it. Soul. So, in total, all the words add up to say, when body was split, so was soul. When body was split, so was soul. So maybe when they were killed, their soul was split from their body and attached to the animatronics nearby. That's my guess, at least. Oh wait, there's a whole like 40 seconds left. Hold on. Take any final notes and hand them to the agent outside of your viewing room. So basically the reason why that said that at the end of that video is because all of these videos together could have been watched in one long viewing by a worker or by, I don't know, an agent or something, and they were taking notes on everything, trying to write it all down. Maybe someone's investigating this, or the government's investigating this, and that's why it says write your final notes and hand this to the agent. But I do want to go back because I did notice that there were some flashes of text during that video. He is nothing. He will go nowhere. And the description for this one says, you will receive the body camera footage of the Winter Watch for review once our department is finished reviewing it for evidence. You are not to speak to anyone other than approved agents about what you have reviewed in these tapes under penalty of death. Thank you for your cooperation. Damn, how under lockdown is this information? And when it says you'll receive body camera footage of the Winter Watch, I wonder if that's the footage of the person that we saw outside in that forest area a few years back, or if that's going to be the big video that's coming out, because I see that there's a larger video coming up very soon that's a lot longer. There's also binary in the description, which we're going to go through. Let me translate that. The binary converts to I won't be kept secret, they will remember. Again with the remembering thing and trying not to keep secret. You know, that you can repair on Opal typically after each hunting show time. I'm guessing the hunting show time is Opal hunting gauge, because apparently orcas do actually go and eat sharks, so the whole show could just be Opal hunting Gage, and that's why Gage is meant to take a beating, just because it's part of the show. Damn, that makes me feel really bad for Gage, dude. Imagine just having a show all the time where you're just getting hunted by someone else. But alright, we got like 3 videos left in this. We have 2 very short ones and then 1 long one. So I'm very excited to show us the next one right away. It's called Copycat. December 6, 1998. Alright, I'm just gonna pause. Copycat Killer, a series of suspected murders in local Washington state parks appear to be not only connected, but directly copying the methods and pattern of murders within the same area as a series of murders committed back in the 1950s. The latest, what does this say? I don't know what that says. Oh, the latest victim being one Emily Blank, who was found cut into pieces and spread across the forest trail. Alright, someone is copying the Chainsaw Killer from 50 years ago. And I'm guessing this is connected because now Mackenzie's Learning Lodge is going to open again. So I'm still trying to make the connection. I know it's tied to the killings somehow, but did the killings take place in Mackenzie's Learning Lodge and then the bodies were disposed of elsewhere? Or are the victims' souls in the animatronics now? Still trying to learn that. The description of this one says, they'll remember. And now the next video is called Welcome to Mackenzie's, and it's 7 minutes long. Welcome. You have been provided the materials to write down what you will see in the following tapes. It is important for you to record everything you observe as soon as you see it. Every detail, no matter how minor it may be, is important. So don't leave out any details in your reports. Sounds like they're talking to me. In terms of your viewing clearance, don't conceal any notes when leaving your viewing room. Don't attempt to leave the facility until cleared to do so. Listen to all demands agents or staff members issue to you. By continuing past this point, you agree to these terms under penalty of death. I'm locked in. Those year of the Mackenzie incident. Mackenzie's Learning Lodge was an establishment meant to combine animatronic entertainment and educational exhibits for family vacations. It never had the chance to open to the public before going bankrupt due to poorly managed budget, lawsuits, and your mom, due to poorly managed budgets, lawsuits, and a permanently tarnished public image. Okay, so they never even officially opened, at least to the public. Now they had lawsuits and a bad public image. I wonder why. The body of a winter watchman was discovered at the lodge after snow cleared enough for an employee to inform the winter watch they were okay to return to home. Several items were reported from the lodge as well. Most progress in the case of the Winter Watchman's death for several months, until a series of tapes started to appear across Washington State, followed by reported sightings of deer monsters in the forest. The following image is the best evidence we have been able to capture of its existence. Okay, so Winter Watchman's killed. His body was only found after someone went over to the place to basically clear him and be like, yo, you can go home. And when they looked at the place, there were several missing items, and all the animatronics were missing. And now apparently there's deer sightings, or deer monster sightings, in the forest. That's not a very clear image, but this is giving Mackenzie with the big jaw, and then it looks like it's got antlers here. We have the reason to believe these strange occurrences are related to the Mackenzie incident and may potentially shine light not only on the death of the Winter Watch, but also allow us to find and contain the monster locals have taken to calling the Hell Fawn, which is the footage that we saw a few videos back of that thing outside. The following tape has not been edited by staff members since the date of their discovery. Okay. I'm loving this so far. We're inside Mackenzie's Learning Lodge. What is that? I am going to turn the captions on just because it's a little hard for me to hear too.
This thing's supposed to be down. Alright, well. How do I get down there?
Is that the water tank?
Alright, let's see. Animatronics. Arcade. Hang up posters. Breaker. Breaker's out the door behind the building.
So I'm guessing this is the Winter Watchman's POV. And we're just watching him go about his first shift here. Get some power in there. Cameras too. Fix those cameras. That's an annoying sound. Looks like a lot of the place is still empty because they're not ready to open yet. That looks odd. A lot of storage crates. Mackenzie. Damn, Mackenzie's huge, dude.
Rise and have heart with the music and have heart with the watch you burn, 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 burn,
For the first time, it seems.
burn, 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 burn.
What's in Mackenzie's hand? Is that an axe? What a horrible idea. Okay, they're all chilling there.
Into my life, carnival, madness, all the time.
First gate.
Baby.
Every tape viewed beyond this point will require a physical exam after viewing. Most tapes that were discovered so far have been found in pairs, one labeled A and the other labeled B, respectively. So you just viewed as tape A, and you will now watch tape B.
Sadness. Sadness. You smile with me. Smile with me.
And the first tape room. Damn, no. No. Well, that scream at the end there definitely sounded like the same scream from the forest video. So I'm guessing what happened was Winter Watchman was paying attention. Mackenzie walks out of the place. He sees all the security footage. He walks out of the place to go find Mackenzie. Gets killed outside. And then after that point, the animatronics escape and just walk right out. As far as the tapes, though, that's a bit weird. In the description, this one says, play hide and seek. I get to be seeker this time.
Carnival of madness.
You do not want to be found by Mackenzie. Alright, we have one more video. So let's just watch that one. It's called Rebirth. The cocoon of my rebirth. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm totally confused by that last one. The description says, my mother used to love this song when she had me. It feels fitting now that I'm home again. So that was Mackenzie's Learning Lodge so far. And after going through the whole series, that was a lot of videos, by the way. That was like 24 to 25 videos. And a lot of them short, some of them a bit longer. And then we had the obviously that one that was a lot more videos. I'm really liking this series so far. Usually my scene, FNAF, style stuff, it's very, it's just FNAF, it's just like Bonnie and Chica and stuff like that. But it's nice to see these animatronics with these unique designs and this to it that I'm going to try to put together. I don't know, there's something about this that's a lot different. But let's go with the story so far, or at least what I can gather from it. So it seems like Mackenzie's Learning Lodge was a place that was going to open at some point in the 50s, and then due to a bad image and lawsuits, it ended up never opening to the public. We also learned that in the 50s there was a killer going around, a chainsaw killer who had several victims. Then now, in what is like 1998, 1999, a company is trying to rebrand Mackenzie's and basically bring it back. You know, they're rebranding the animatronics, changing them up a bit, showing us how they work, showing us all their names, what they do. Now, we learned that Mackenzie's Learning Lodge is basically a place where these animatronics teach you different things. You know, we have the beaver who can, like, actually, you know, build things like dams. We have the orca chasing after the shark, teaching you that, I guess, orcas eat sharks, or, you know, there's Seattle's fight. Then we have Lila, who does snowboarding, and we have the wolf, who teaches you archery. And I'm guessing Mackenzie, since Mackenzie has an axe, maybe chops wood. I'm not too sure about Mackenzie yet. Maybe I missed that. But all these animatronics have purpose, and they're all very intelligent animatronics. They seem to be able to go in and out of the premises on their own. They teach kids things. And now that this rebrand is happening, there's features with some animatronics, like, you know, that the raven and the wolf seem to be very closely connected for some reason. They also don't seem to be working right now because they tear each other apart when they tear themselves apart. And we did see that now the Winter Watchman has been killed by what seems like Mackenzie. As we saw in that last video, you know, the Winter Watchman walks out, and Mackenzie also just starts to walk out. And after that event, when the Winter Watchman's killed, all let me know if I'm getting any of this wrong, because we have got a lot of detail.
Hey.
So I'm trying to keep
Yes,
up with right
hey.
now. And then also get the important message throughout the rewrite videos, which says the brain body is split, soulless souls. So on one hand, I want to think when one of the victims was killed, maybe in Mackenzie's Lodge in the 50s, their soul was split into all these animatronics. But then that kind of explains to me why the Raven people have such a close connection. If there's actually different souls in all the animatronics, that would make a little more sense. Like they all have different personalities. But why would the soul of the orca still attack the shark one? And why would the raven and the wolf tear themselves apart when they're separated? That's a little confusing here to me. And just the whole premise of how the chainsaw killings have to directly do with the Mackenzies. What is the premise there? Because we know that the bodies weren't kept at Mackenzie's. It says that the bodies were found in multiple parks throughout Washington State. So I'm not too sure yet, but this really does seem like, even though again we're like 25 videos deep, this does seem like it's just the beginning of this series. You know, we're getting so many short videos, we're getting introduced to the characters, and we finally get what seems to be like the first official video of the series with Welcome to Mackenzie's, which is great animation. We get to see a walkthrough of the Mackenzie's Learning Lodge, we get to see some security footage and Richard Watchman, what happened to him. And we also learned that this is the first grouping of many tapes that were found. So I'm sure we're definitely going to see more from this series, and I'm very excited too. And honestly, big shout out to Megala for continuing the series despite their whole hard drive getting wiped and having to restart from scratch. I think they did a great thing here by continuing the series because it's getting a lot of love right now. And I think you guys should go and show some love to Megala's channel. Will be at the top of the description down below. Please make sure to go subscribe, like their videos, comment on their videos, go watch the future videos because if they come out with more videos and you guys want me to go over them, I probably won't go over them for a little bit. I like to let, some of the videos build up so we can do like a marathon watching them. So be sure to go subscribe to them. They have 8.5k viewers at the time of me recording this. See if we can get them to 10k or even 15k subscribers. Please guys, go show your support. And you also have the ability to become a member and maybe even get to see videos early. But I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. I know it's a bit different because I don't usually go over FNAF, analog horror / VHS type stuff, but a lot of people were telling me to go over the series and I heard that it was really good and I enjoyed it a lot for myself. So if you guys definitely want me to cover this series in the future, be sure to get this video to 15k likes and then I'll do that. And if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to drop a like on it. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I make videos like this on my channel all the time and we're trying to hit 1 million subs before the end of the year. And alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
I wanna do something cute. Which I can try for cover on it.
Almost anything is possible these days. But that goes for cybercriminals too. With AI, they can create threats so realistic, it's hard to tell what's real and what's not. That's why Genie AI-powered scam detection is now included in our all-in-one protection. So you can live digital life on the bright side. Norton 360, advanced tech for advanced threats.
I stumbled across a strange channel on YouTube. It's called Cloud Your Hands, and there's a series of weird videos, all from the year of 2008. The first video was entitled Mansion 1. Let's take a look at it. There's something slightly unsettling about this video, but it's tough to put a finger on what it is exactly. Things get stranger as we examine the description. It contains a series of ones and zeros, binary code. One way the computer stores text information is by encoding each letter into an 8-bit sequence using the American Standard Code for Information Interchange, or ASCII for short. As it turns out, these numbers are ASCII code. When translated, they read. If you look into the light, you can see. You can see one. Wait on this place. Why did someone feel the need to upload this video? One is a very neat introduction. There's a link to a blog as well. From the title, it appears that this person is named Hans Oliver. The first post predates the video by several days and was written on April 23rd, 2008. It's entitled Looking for a Hideout. Let's read it. It has been a couple of weeks after the incident. They wanted to kill me, but I've survived. Now here I am, without really a home, without really reality. My family is far enough for me to miss them. I'm looking for new hideouts. Fortunately, here are some friends of mine. Now I'm living in an old mansion amidst wild trees. I don't know how long I can hide myself. From them, from the others, from the truth. One day I have to come out. One day. Within this post is an image that appears to be of the scene of the video. Note the similarity between the skylines. The post offers more questions than answers. They wanted to kill me, looking for new hideouts, hiding from... Looking for new hideouts, hiding from the truth. At this point, they still don't know what's going on. Later that day, Hans posts another blog entry entitled Strange Friend. I'm living in his mansion. He doesn't say much. I don't say much. I don't even know his name. I trust him, he trusts me. That is enough. We have only one agreement. I may never visit the basement of the house. It's a restricted area, so to say. Well, I don't want to break his trust. Actually, I wonder what is hidden in the cellar. But to survive is more important to me as it is to satisfy my curiosity. It appears as though our friend Hans is not alone in this mansion. There's another person. Yet the details remain murky. We still don't really know what's happening here. The blog goes silent for 3 days before Hans returns with a short message. Erica, oh Erica. This post does have some comments. A conversation with a user named Illy. Illy believes they've met Hans before. Hans replies with a sequence of numbers, another code. This one is very similar to the YouTube description from earlier. In the same way that binary numbers correspond to letters in ASCII, so too do decimal numbers. Each set of numbers can be converted into a letter. Doing this for each number reveals readable text. The world is pretty small, my friend. I've heard this and I've heard that. Perhaps the answer lives in our head, or in our heart. Illy responds with another encoded message, but this one is different. It contains both letters and numbers. How can we convert that to text? The answer to this is a bit technical, but bear with me. Different numbering systems have a special property called base. This represents how many unique digits there are. For example, we are used to base 10, the decimal numbering system. This means that there are 10 different possible symbols we can use. But other bases also exist. One example we just saw is base 2, or binary. In this system, there are only 2 symbols we can use, 0 and 1. Both bases have the same numbers. This number is equal to 15 whether we write it in decimal or binary. The value is the same, it's just a different way of writing. However, there are more than just these 2 numbering systems. In fact, you can go as high as you want, so long as you can find enough symbols. The third most common is base 16, or hexadecimal. In this version, we need more symbols than just 10, so we start using letters as well. Again, it's just as expressive as the other 2, it only looks different. In this case, the number 13 will be written D. It turns out that the characters on Illy's and Hans' comments are actually hexadecimal numbers and can be converted to text. I see. How does your Erica feel about butterflies, I wonder? Hans responds with, Erica, oh, she loved every living thing. Butterflies, fishes, dolphins, horses, just everything living. This introduces a new character, Erica. All we know is what Hans just told us. We do not know if she's a family member, a lover, or a friend. Yet it does appear as though she's important to Hans. Hans waxes poetic again a few days later in a post called Path in the Shadow. He references Elysium 3 times. Elysium is the ancient Greek concept of the afterlife. He also refers to Eden, the biblical paradise found in the book of Genesis. The path in the shadow for me is Elysium. The place in the shadow is his Elysium, this hidden paradise, this Eden sliced twice. Once again, we don't really know exactly what Hans is talking about here. His writings are cryptic and obtuse. The pattern continues the following day when Hans posts a picture of a statue that he saw during a trip to Paris. According to the post, the picture was taken from within the room. Hans talks about how his target was gone and how he failed that day. Yet he also has a weird feeling that he won, that he was a human being, which does this so good. There's a comment on this post from a user named The Silent Observer, and it turns out that they have a blog of their own called Shoe Arsenal. The first first comment links to their post. I found your blog, Lauscher Hans. Yes, I did. What a spy you are. Even if you don't delete a history in my browser. Lauscher Hans, what a great noble nickname you have. Lauscher Hans lives in my house. Mansion, he calls this place. He is eating my food. He is using my computer. And what a mysterious miracle he doesn't cover his tracks for me. Too much trust, Lauscher Hans. Too much trust. There comes a day you, Lauscher Hans, will know the whole truth about you. About me. Apparently, the Silent Observer is the other person in this mansion who's been mentioned a couple of times thus far. Hans has failed to cover his tracks and has been discovered. However, there is a discrepancy. Hans writes as though the other person in the mansion has been aware of him for some time, yet the Silent Observer writes as though they are just now making contact. And then there's another strange nugget. What is the whole truth about Hans? But right now, we just don't know. Over the next few days, the Silent Observer makes posts commenting on Hans' blog. They claim that they rescued Hans. In a post called Oops, we learn that the Silent Observer struggles with technology. They draw upon one of Hans' pictures, pointing out that they are not a great craftsman and putting a no-go on the face of it. It isn't long until Hans finds the blog. On April 30th, he makes a post that is a list of ASCII numbers. Translating it reveals the following. Oh, now, the sun has arisen and set me. I have to be careful about my acquaintanceship. I trust my friends, but I have to watch out. They are reading me too, and they are writing something like mudslinging. Hans has discovered that the Silent Observer is aware of his blog. There's another encoded message in the comments, but this one's a combination of base 10 and base 16 ASCII. Using the two, we can decode it to the following German text. This roughly translates to, "It's going okay, thanks for the warning, I still trust you. Do you know the story of Ned E?" The encoding has managed to obscure the text from the Silent Observer. In the next post, they say that they have no clue what the numbers mean, yet the title partly suggests that Hans has discovered something. The rest of the post is strange and blinding, filled with typos. The Observer makes fun of Hans' post about Eric. Then there's a bizarre sequence of encoded letters. It turns out that this uses a type of code called the Caesar cipher. The Caesar cipher is pretty easy to understand. Simply take two rows of the alphabet and shift one of them over, looping around to the other side. To encrypt the message, use a letter from the top row and write down the corresponding letter from the bottom row. Coding is done in reverse. Take an encrypted letter, find its place in the bottom row, and write the decoded plain text. The key to the Caesar cipher is known as shift. How far was the second alphabet shifted relative to the first alphabet? The mysterious text appeared as though it could be a Caesar cipher. People thought it implied that this might be German text, but how could it be decoded? Well, the nice thing about the German language is that there are only 30 letters in the alphabet. This means that the Caesar cipher only has 30 possible shifts. It's trivial to try all of them. In doing so, the text can be decoded using a shift of 13. Once decoded, the message can be translated to say the following. My pathos would surely make you laugh. Haven't you stopped laughing? The meaning is, like much of the Observer's text, somewhat obscure. Why are they acting so strangely? What is really going on within this mansion? The Observer posts again 2 days later. I had yesterday a splendid chat with Lauscher Hans, or in the also who is truly a bookworm. This fool has read as many books as I have. His favorite, by the way, is Crime and Punishment, especially the protagonist of this masterpiece. Lauscher Hans says he wore his copy. How pathetic, I hate this book. And I told him about a legend, my very private secret. Yes, guys and gals, even such foxes like me have their secrets. Don't know why I told him about it. I haven't still told nobody about it. But you know, my friends, perhaps one day. No, forget it. It's clear that Hans is becoming increasingly nervous by the presence of the Observer as his next post is password protected. But Hans made a critical error during his conversation with the Observer, which was to tell him that his favorite book was Crime and Punishment by the famed author Dostoevsky. The password to his post is Raskolnikov, which is the protagonist of the novel. In the text, Hans also references the conversation about literature, mentioning that the Observer likes Cervantes and all the most famous who write Don Quixote. In fact, the Observer has already mentioned El Ingenioso Hidalgo, which is the Spanish title for the book. There's another mention of the Nedney legend. This is the second time that Nedney has come up on this blog. What is it? Well, it appears to be related to Mount Nedney, which is a mountain in Pennsylvania in the United States. It's probably most famous for being the inspiration of the Nittany Lions, which is the mascot of the nearby State University. The etymology of the term Nittany is somewhat controversial. In 1918, Henry Schumacher wrote a book entitled Juniata Memories, Legends Collected in Central Pennsylvania. The 10th chapter is called Nittany, a tradition of the Juniata Maiden. It tells the story of a female leader named Nittany who ruled over an indigenous tribe. She was revered for her peaceful philanthropy, fighting only when necessary. As the story goes, upon her burial after death, a great storm rose during the night. In the morning, her burial mound had been transformed into the mountain now known as Nittany. Yet the story may be the imagination of the author instead of the claimed traditional legend. While the term Nittany does appear to predate the book, some have suggested that the legend contained within is mere fabrication. Regardless of its authenticity, this is probably what Hans has been referencing in his posts, the legend of Nittany. This development suggests that the mansion may be somewhere in rural Pennsylvania. After all, that's the most likely location where someone would be aware of the legend of Nittany. Yet, the reason for the repeated reference remains a mystery. The Silent Observer and Hans seem to both have an interest in literature and book. The next Observer post references both. It's entitled Waiting for Godot. This is the title of a famous play by Samuel Beckett. In it, two characters wait for, well, Godot, a character who never appears. The play has a broad range of interpretations. Parable representing the wait for a god which never comes. Others believe it has a Freudian interpretation. Still others believe that it's an allegory for the Cold War. Maybe the only thing we can say for sure is that there are many potential meanings. The Observer also has some lyrics from Danny Boy, which was written in 1913, just 5 years prior to Henry Schumacher's book. About 12 hours later, they made another post about it. And then there's a piece of information. While Lauscherhans was enjoying the autumn sky of Paris, his target was gone. Yes, my dears, our bibliophile is cold-blooded. Murder. The funny thing was... Oh, he's coming now. I have to erase a history in my browser. The following day, Hans made a post with a new video called Floor. Let's watch it. Distrust of the man who researched the house. And he says that while snooping around on the computer, he found a password-protected file called Hans-Ultimate.zip. This understandably shakes Hans. Why would be a file named after him on someone else's computer? The file is not linked on the blog directly. However, something leads us to the thread of a blog called Unfiction. As it turns out, there are a few people here who have been discussing Lauscherhans. Someone has posted a link to the file. We can download it and take a look. It's listed as a PDF file, but unfortunately it appears to be corrupted. However, if we change the extension to zip, the file is readable. A password is required to access it. Then a user named Sun78 discovered that the key is listed nothing. The name of the horse is Don. The archive contains a PDF of Faust, a story by the German author Goethe. It involves a man who makes a deal with the devil, but it backfires. The PDF is quite long and it contains a few extra images interspersed between the skin text. The first is a photograph of a hand with a knife. Dear Redacted, my beloved Redacted, he is here. I have to rescue him, even if you are more important for me than somebody else. He is here and you are in danger, and I cannot do much about you. There is only one solution for us, and I'm sorry to say about it. You have to hide in our basement. I know he will be very shocked and upset if you see you. This is very dangerous for every one of us. So I'll prepare the basement as comfortable as I can for you, my dearest. I'll be unendangered and secure there. I know it's really hard to move from the surface from our house full of harmony and peace into the underground, and I'll try to put an end to it, but not yet. And then, in the different sometimes we have to make decisions against our present for the sake of our future. Always yours, Redacted. The letter implies that there's a third person in the house. The observer, afraid of Hans, has decided to put them in the basement underground with the hopes of protecting them. This is showing why they insist Hans never enters the basement, where he would find this other person. There's another detail. In the background is a book. This is a physical copy of the same house story found on the PDF. The PDF also contains a strange map. Hans recognizes it as a path to the loft, and he posts an image of the building. If you look carefully at the left side of this house, you can see this round window. The PDF also has a code on the final page. As it turns out, we can decode it if we interpret it as base 64. This works just like base 2, 10, and 16, except this time no it's recorded. Upon decoding, we can read the text. There's a circle in a loft. See where there's a key. Look in a circle. Then Hans posts a video of his journey to the loft. But Hans doesn't have much to say about it, as it's no problem. The following day, the observer posts, I was nice to him, I rescued him, and more, I tried to protect him from an inescapable danger, but he didn't trust me. He stole my data, he cracked my codes, he is sniffing around. This hopeless fool, he trusted you, my precious innocents. You play his patrons, so let's play. I help you to destroy him. I'll tell you the truth about him. You just have to understand me. The quotation contains a code. It appears to be base 16, but when converted, it's a little more than jumbled text. However, by using another Caesar cipher, this time with the shift of 23, we discover that it says Institute. Friendly guys from an institute are following him, and they can be very angry if you don't do what they want. And then the sound observer gives a code to Hans, creates a code in the form of 3 numbers representing a page, a line, and a letter. This is a book cipher which corresponds to the scanned book in the PDF. By locating the appropriate page, line, and letters, we can find that the key is in the fringe. The following day, Hans posts another YouTube video entitled Fringe. In it, he searches the fringe as suggested by the observer. After a while, Hans finds it. The key. It has a tag that's difficult to see with you, but thankfully he's supposed to render us some images as well. Once again, it's some type of code. As it turns out, we can decode it if we interpret it as a base 16. There, on the backside says S. The key was decoded by a commenter, and the observer is becoming annoyed by the help that others are giving. Nonetheless, they continue to give clues on their blog. This one is another set of numbers that can be decoded using base 16 ASCII. It produces text, but jumbled. We can again use a Caesar cipher with a shift of 21 to decode it completely. If you look deep into your heart, you have to raise to heaven. Remember, watch out for heart. Hans' next post is soon thereafter, and he ponders the meaning of the words on the keys. Yet he shows resolve. It's time to enter the tower and discover what is there. He believes that the observer does not want him to find Erica. He says that it hangs like the sword of Damocles above their head. This is a reference to a story about a person who agrees to switch places with the king for a day. While they enjoy the luxuries and riches of being a ruler, above their head is a sword hanging by a hair, a constant reminder of how when you're king, everyone wants your head. The observer posts a picture of Hans descending into the tower with a florid description. Ha, look at this cool picture. That's funny. Our superhero Vausher Hans is moving towards his own Hades. The tower is swallowing his minty figure like an abyss, gaping in the apocalyptic mist. Isn't it a masterpiece? This courageous fool is really bold enough. A little step for mankind, a last step for a man. Okay, not last, but also not least. At the end of this post, there's some text that is hidden. Once again, it is in base 16. We can translate the text as, Abandon hope, all ye who enter here. This is a reference to Dante's Inferno, an epic poem about a journey through hell written in the 14th century. According to the poem, this text appears at the gates of hell. Within the tower, Hans searches and finds a heart-shaped box. When he opens it, discovers another key. But this key does not unlock the door of the basement. The profile is different. It has a tag with an encoded message in base 64 ASCII.
Hi.
Decoded
Thanks for being a fan of me.
in the bag. Apparently, this means that the next key is in a saw bag. Hans discovers that it opens a box on the wall with a key to a room in the corridor. The room is loud and chaotic. There are various machines everywhere. There's even a cat wandering around. Yet Hans cannot find what he's looking for. A person named Karen gives a hint that she received from an anonymous message on Facebook. The key of the future is in silence. But what does that mean? Could it be the sign with the finger held to the lips? Hans returns to the machine room to examine the sign, and as it turns out, there is a key. Once again, it has a strange label that he describes on a new blog post. We can use our base 64 decoder to see that the key says kindly on one side and no on the other. This must be the basement key, at least Hans believes so. It's time for him to head underground and finally visit America. But that's the last time that we ever hear from Hans directly. The next blog post is, well, bizarre to say the least. The title is a long string of numbers and letters. Hidden within, we can see NetMap. It's the last observation protocol for authorized personnel. Then there's a sequence of dated messages, each from Lauscher Hans. I found a basement key. Erica, I rescue now. Okay, I'm going downstairs. Yes, it was the right key. The basement is now open. By the way, on the inner side of a door, there's a writing. RXJPA2E, whatever that means. It's dark here. Where's the light switch? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Mirrors. Nothing but mirrors. The basement is full of mirrors. Ha, what have you expected? Where's Erica? Erica. Ha, you fool. Look at this mirror. What do you see? Have you heard that? There's somebody upstairs. Yes, of course, they're here. Have you called them? They knew where you are, boy. They were always here. They will hold me. They will chain me to my bed again. Hehehe, finita la comida. They will hold us. Me and you. Well, reasonable, our little Socrates. I know the exit here. Go this way, that little door to outside. I'm free. Keep running. Contact lost. Report yourself immediately to Dr. Freudenstein. What is going on? Why is Hans talking to himself? And even more important, what is the observation protocol? Who is Dr. Freudenstein? There's one final video posted to both Lauscher Hans and the Silent Observer. This is a split screen of two people running, which eventually merges into a single image. At this point, we're just about totally lost. We have no idea what's going on. But there's one more post on each blog in the form of a pair of emails. The first one is on Lauscher Hans and is in German, but here I have a rough translation. The subject is Project Ninja Final Report, and it's sent from Versik to Dr. Freudenstein. Dear Dr. Freudenstein, attached is the short summary of the final report, which you will receive by internal post this week. The subject of our experiment, HA, suffering from acute dissociative identity disorder, was placed in an unlocked territory, a house complex, as well as the garden area in experimental sector number 17 map, so that he can move freely there. With a few exceptions, no medical or psychiatric assistance was required. However, the test subject was under the most comprehensive surveillance around the clock. Surveillance cameras were installed throughout the test site and in the house. In addition, his online activities were subjected to constant monitoring from our monitoring center. Please refer to the documents for details. Our experiment successfully underpins your theory that a mentally unstable patient suffering from DID or NP can heal himself under certain conditions. On the one hand, it is made possible by indirect influences. In our case, it was the anonymous internet contacts with whom we communicated and who passively or actively helped him with the healing. On the other hand, it was the aspect that played an important role in their context theories, the striving of the split personalities to unite. This striving is driven by both artificially and naturally generated antipathy of identities. Here, the intensity of the psychological disorientation is used as a tool to remedy it and restore the whole. This became clear at the guided by a survival instinct, reconnected his identities and healed himself. Unfortunately, our subject managed to escape. However, we are in the process of searching for HA, and the consensus within our research team is that there is no danger to the public because the former sick person is now left. I am sincerely sorry for the inconvenience and for the fact that we cannot show you the subject of this project immediately after the end of the experiment. However, we are running late. Kind regards, Percy, Research Institute for Psychosomatic Medicine, Human Experiments Department. Then, on the silent observer, another email from Percy, this time to Dr. W. Yearling. Dear Dr. W. Yearling, our experiment is now successfully completed. I sent you the full report as an attachment. As promised, my report contains an all-embracing description of our project. I am happy to inform you that your theories are proven. For years, I was a passionate reader of your articles for Alternative Psychiatry Studies Bulletin, and your monograph, The Power of Unconscious Involvement, belongs to my most readable books. I haven't reported to Mr. Freudenstein about a fact that the online internet contacts weren't really accidental. Actually, I acted on your advice and provoked an intense involvation of some members of two ARG forums, Unfiction and Patent. The constitution of a so-called alternate reality game allows for a total involvation in a project, even if the participators don't know the backgrounds and take the project for a game. In the shades of the communicated parts, the forum members on one hand and split personalities on the other hand permits us to build a perfect model of communicative coexistence, a therapeutical network as you defined it in your works. In our case, the ART players healed our reagent without even knowing it. Thank you in advance. Yours faithfully,
Alright.
Percy finishes by asking for a job, as they believe that they will be fired by Dr. Freudenstein. Our understanding of flounder hands has changed dramatically within the past few months. So what exactly is going on here?
I'm going to be done for the night. I have to get going and get ready for go to bed so I can get to work. Thank you all for being here. You guys have a good night or good day, whatever time zone it is for you.